Hello and welcome to this week's show. This is a gateway to the spirit world, and my name is Gail Moffat, and it also goes on Moonstruck TV, and you can see the sort of shows afterwards on the A1R Facebook page. So it's all good. There's many opportunities to watch again. Now, I was just thinking, as usual, I always like to do a little chat, a little sort of talk, spiritual talk, just to get us all in the mood for the two callers that will be calling in shortly. Now, I think we can't sort of, move fairly forward without mentioning what's going on in the world at the moment, the COVID-19 coronavirus. And, I know that sort of in America that they've had some quite sort of strict measures, and the UK has been lagging a little bit behind. But we're now, as of yesterday, we've been advised to not go to gatherings and pubs and clubs and gatherings and restaurants and cafes and churches. We're not in a lockdown, but it's just an advice. So I don't know how people are going to respond to this. And I think that one of the things that is quite sort of, from a we're all on a spiritual journey. We're all in this life, and we're all, learning our lessons, and we're all ostensibly on this journey. And this journey in the moment potentially is quite challenging for some people. They may have their own businesses, or they may sort of say, let's say they work for an airline or work for an industry that is completely falling apart because of what's happening around the world. And I think that we have to put our thoughts out there, and also our prayers to those people that are struggling as a result economically of this. But not only is it just about the economics, one of the things that, as a healer, I have made a point of on a daily basis, I sit for an hour. Sometimes it's an hour and 15 minutes, sometimes it's an hour and a half, but a minimum of about an hour, where I will look to invite my guides, my healing guides, and also God who works with me, and to sort of send out healing to the world, and send out healing to the people that are affected by the coronavirus. And this is something that I will continue to do. If there is anybody that specifically has a need from a healing point of view, please contact me on Facebook. My name is Gail Moffat, and just sort of, ask for healing and send in that message, because, and I'll put you on my healing list and send healing to you. And that needn't be just because of the coronavirus. It could be of another issue. But, I would be more than happy to do that for anybody that has a need at this point in time. Now, I know that we have some callers waiting, and I'm going to go to the callers. But just before we go to the callers, don't forget, you can find me on Gail Moffat on Facebook, and you can also, don't forget, if you need healing, whether it be for the coronavirus or anything else that is going on, please let me know your names, and I'll put you on my healing list when I send out healing. So I believe we have Helena in Bideford in Devon. Are you there, Helena?
Yes, I am.
I am insanely jealous that you live in Devon. not in a negative way, but just in a in a fun way. I love Devon. You're very lucky to live there. Do you like it as much as I do?
Yes, it's nice.
So I am a medium, and I can connect with my guides and give you guidance, or I can look to connect to a loved one that's in spirit. Is there a particular way that you would like me to work?
No, whichever you feel best.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, I'm getting all sorts of information all at the same time. So, right, okay. First of all, I feel that there is a grandmother in the spirit world, and then she came in and she suddenly showed to me in my clairvoyance. I felt like it was sort of a young man, and so I don't know whether what she was saying is there is a young man in spirit, or there's something that she wants to talk about, particularly pertaining to a young man that may have some problems around you. Does that make sense in any way to you, Helena?
Yes, possibly my brother.
And this is your brother in spirit or here?
No, here.
Here. Because she literally came in and she just like showed me this man that she feels is she's making me feel like he's troubled in his mind. Would that make sense to you?
Yeah, possibly.
And she's wanting to say that she's been around your brother, and she's been around him for quite a few weeks, because she's saying that he is it's almost like he feels sort of overwhelmed with his circumstances in his life, because she's making me feel that he is almost like he doesn't know whether to turn left or right or go forward. He's troubled by lots of circumstances, and she's making me feel that she has witnessed in his private moments, just on his own, that he has been a little bit sorrowful, or perhaps sort of, had a little on his own, because she's saying that he feels that he is perhaps, because of certain circumstances, that he feels as though he's letting certain people down, and he is and he doesn't know how to resolve certain things. Would that make sense to you?
Yes, it does. Yes.
So what I'm told by your grandmother is that she's going to be doing her utmost to sort of almost lift his spirits and support him through this. She's saying to me that she's sort of got in a sort of little smile, but she makes me feel like your brother was a little bit of the naughty one when he was younger. Would that make sense to you? And she makes me feel
not overly,
like
no.
Pardon?
Not really overly, no.
She makes me feel like he was the one that she was concerned about then, because I feel like there was always sort of a little bit of concern for him, where she felt that you were always okay. Would that make sense?
Yeah.
And she's saying to me that he's quite a sensitive soul as well, and that he and so things that can be said or things that are done can hurt him deeply, and because he can get easily quite emotional about things, and she's first of all, she's asking me specifically. I don't know if you were hearing, I was talking about healing. She's asked me to send some healing to him. Now, healing comes in many ways. It can be emotional, it can be physical, it can be, whatever is needed. But she's asking me specifically to send in some healing. So if you give me his name, I will make sure that I put him on my list. And she's also saying that she's been trying hard to lift him up as well. I just feel very, very emotional with regards to him. She's saying that with yourself, she's making me feel as though you're there's a little bit of indecisiveness with you as to I can't quite pin it down right now, so it's just very loose at the moment. But I just get this feeling that there's a little bit of sort of, shall I do this or shall I do that or what shall I do? And she's just making
Yeah.
me feel like you've been sort of whirring things around in your mind as to sort of what to do in your life, and she's just letting you know that she's aware of your thoughts. Um,
Okay.
and she's drawing my attention to your father. Is your father still here with us?
No, he's not.
Okay. She's drawing my attention to your father, and that would make sense actually, because um, as I'm sort of connecting, I'm aware that he's just stepped forward,
Okay.
and he's very, very emotional as he steps forward, because I feel that this is, and he makes me feel like he's a little bit unsteady on his feet, and I think that
Yeah.
what he's doing is he's showing himself how he was, before he passed. But
Yeah.
he's saying to me that he I feel that he has some sort of concerns as to how he was um, when he was here, because he makes me feel that he wasn't always the kindest of fathers. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Um, and
Yeah.
and he's making me feel that um, when he looks at you, he makes me feel that you have you've got some wounds with regards to his actions, because he's making me feel like, when he was younger and a bit more fitter, he was quite selfish and quite sort of um, didn't sort of give much concern to sort of other people in his life, um, and
Yeah.
I feel that he has some deep regrets for how he has behaved, and he's saying to me that he specifically would like to apologize to you for his behavior, and he also wants to apologize to your brother, because he he's saying that your brother is also wounded by his behavior, and he makes me feel like your brother is more wounded than you, like
Yeah.
you've got a level of coping and a little bit stronger than he is, and he hasn't coped with the roots of his sensitivity is
Yeah.
rooted in your father, and I'm being told that okay, so I'm just asking if one of my guides could come forward, and just sort of give some words as well in addition to this, because I feel like some real great healing needs to go to your brother. Um,
Okay.
and your father says specifically he would love it if you could let him know how sorry he is for his actions, and he's really sorrowful and quite emotional as he says this, because he
Yeah.
feels like he's let he not only let both of you down, but he feels like your brother is more affected. Um,
Yeah.
and he's also drawing my attention to your mother as well. Is your mother here?
Yeah, she's here, yeah.
Right. Um, he's making me feel like he was quite almost like oppressive or dominant with her, or didn't really
Yeah.
give her the freedom in life that she would have liked to have had. And
Yeah.
again, I feel that he's very sorry to her, and would like his apologies be told to her. And he's just saying to me that if there was anything that he could do to turn the clock back and put things right, he would. But he feels a little bit sort of helpless, and he doesn't know how to sort of put things right, except just come forward today and apologise for his actions. I hope that helps. And I just feel like there's a sense of urgency with your brother for him to be healed from his actions. So I hope that helps. And I just want to say, if you give me your brother's name, I will put him on my healing list. If that's something, would you like to do that?
Yeah. His name's Tom Ford.
Pardon?
Tom Thorpe.
Tom Thorpe.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll put him on the healing list. I hope that helps, and thank you so much for coming in. Now, remember, you can find a repeat of this video that we're doing today on the A1R Psychic Radio page, so you can watch it there, and then eventually I'll put it on my page as well. So you can see it again if you need to. And but thank you very much for ringing in. Thank you. Right, I have Xenia. Are you Sierra? Are you there?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
And so I the show, and I am a medium, and I can either sort of connect to loved ones in spirit, or I can connect with my guides and give you guidance. Is there a particular way that you'd like me to work?
Guidance would be nice.
Guidance. And is there somewhere that you'd like me to focus?
Career, family.
Okay. As you said, family, I just want to go straight to family because I feel like that's quite sort of relevant here. And I feel like I want to go to I feel like I want to go to one of your family members, and I feel like he's male, and he feels like he could be a father, but I'm not quite sure yet. But it will be revealed to me as time goes by. It's either a father or a brother or somebody that's close, that's male in your family, and I'm being drawn to him. And one of the things that I would like to say here is that I feel that yourself in your family, it hasn't always been easy in the dynamics of your family. Would that make sense to you, Sierra?
Yes. Yes.
And would I be right in saying that there is a male that hasn't made things easy for other people in the family? Would you understand that?
Yes.
And I feel I have a grandmother, and when I get a grandmother, that could be a great grandmother or a grandmother. I'm not sure, but I feel that this is on your father's side is where I'm going, and I know with this lady that it's almost like she wants to stamp her feet, and she's really quite angry with how people are being treated in your family, and I feel that it's to do with it. She makes me feel like it's your father. Would that make sense to you?
Yes, sounds like my grandmother.
Pardon?
Yes, it sounds like my grandmother.
And she's quite cross with him. She's saying to me, I never brought him up to behave in such a terrible way. I never, she's like really cross, like, what is he doing? And how is he behaving? This is terrible. And she's like really getting quite sort of agitated and sort of cross with me as she's talking about, your father and what he's doing. And she's telling me that it's made you feel as though you are, it's affected you emotionally. It's affected you in your sensitivity, and it's made you feel a little bit insecure in your life. And there's nothing wrong with feeling insecure, because that's just a set of circumstances that that's led you to this position. And I'm just being told that your grandmother is very, very keen to alleviate the stress and the distress that you are under, because she feels that this has to stop. This has to stop. She's really quite agitated and quite frankly, she's quite angry as well. And she's telling me that are you still in an educational setting or in any way? Does that make sense to you?
I'm doing school online.
You're doing?
I do school online.
School online, okay. Okay, because she was showing me a school, an educational setting, and she's saying to me that she feels that sort of it's almost like she's pushing you to get through this as quickly as possible, like get through this. She's pushing you, and she really wants you to sort of succeed and survive this whole ordeal, because she feels that the sooner you find independence and freedom from your family setting, the better it will be for you.
Right.
Also, are you interested in a relationship with somebody, or maybe you're in a relationship? Because I'm sensing somebody around you. Does that make sense?
Yes, I'm supposed to be in a relationship.
When you say supposed to be, I was wondering what that means.
I don't know if I can. I mean, I trust him, but something in me tells me don't.
Yeah. Okay. Sometimes I think we should trust our instincts, because I'm being drawn to a relationship and this is coming from your grandmother. She's telling me about this relationship, and she's saying to me that he is somebody that can be all sort of we have an expression in England, sort of all lovey-dovey, sort of that, like he's says all the right things and very loving and nice, and then the next minute there's a sort of a silence, or he's not around, or he's busy, or and she makes me feel as though it's sort of up and down. Would that make sense to you?
Yes.
And she's telling me that you've been particularly frustrated with him, and sort of, like, why are you doing this? Why, what's wrong? And why, one moment this and one moment that. And she's telling me that you have been looking to have some sort of explanation from him, and he hasn't been prepared to give that any sort of explanation. And she's saying to me that, oh dear, I hate it when they do this to me. She's saying to me, so what you've got to remember is, before I tell you what she's saying, is I want you to know that, we like to say, we like to cover ourselves as mediums. This is for entertainment purposes and sort of guidance only. And you have to sort of trust your instincts and go in the direction that you want to go. And, sometimes mediums get things wrong. So just remember that as I go to the next part. But she's saying you're right to doubt him. And she doesn't feel very positive about him, or doesn't have many good words to say about him. And she it's like she doesn't like him. But again, that's her opinion. I've had boyfriends in the past where my dad didn't like them, or he never liked anyone actually. But
yeah, that's how mine is.
The older generation, they generally have an opinion, and perhaps they don't take the time out to know somebody. So I just want to sort of put that caveat in, and because I know that you have to make this decision, but this is exactly what I'm getting from her. She's saying that she has doubts about him being the right person for you moving forward, and she's warning you to be careful about him, and almost like she's saying hold back a little bit so that your emotions are protected, because she says that she's saying to me that things will come to light that you won't be too happy with, and it's a way of her saying that she wants to sort of protect you.
Okay.
Have you got a sister?
Yes.
Okay, because she's drawing my attention to a sister, and she's saying to me that I feel like one of you, and I feel drawn to your sister, that she is perhaps quite bubbly. Would that make sense to you?
Yes.
Quite sort of full of fun and laughter, and she's very, very funny. And your grandmother is sort of admiring her personality, and she watches both of you giggle, because you giggle a lot. And she's saying to me that also she's telling me that you like music as well, and I know that music is a major part of you, and I feel that you have some sort of headphones or earpiece where you listen to music, and I know that music is a major part of your life. Saying to me, remember, Sierra, I will always be in your life, and I will always be here to guide you, and I will never leave your side until it's time for you to come over to Spirit. She wants to protect you so much, and I feel like there is such an enormous strong love for you, and she says she doesn't want you to suffer anymore. She wants you to, the moment you get freedom, she wants you to go out there and fly.